Hello, everybody. We are back. I'm Daniel. This is Allison. This is Tidal Blades Banner Festival, and this is not the video that you have already seen on it. Yeah, it's not Deja Vu. We are back with a second Tidal Blades Banner Festival video because while we already did a full breakdown overview, what we love about this game,
a lot of people asked, but how does it play two-player? Yeah. It says it's for 2 to 5, and it's a trick-taking game. Yeah. So a two-player, and we had not played it at two-player at that point.
No, we'd only played with four people.
Players, yeah. And got a really good overview of the game in that way, but two players.
Yeah, now if you do want to see our full overview of the game, I will try to remember to put a link right here. If not, it will definitely be in the description. But most likely it'll pop up here about 10 seconds ago.
Right, so if you played a trick-taking game, you realize that it's like, it's whoever is playing against you is, you're trying to get the lowest or the highest, that type of thing. So it's just two players.
Yeah, it seems like it's to be real binary.
Yeah, and then even when you're playing the other cards, which we do, I felt that it would be really kind of forced. It was like,
or just too random.
Yeah, maybe too random. I don't really know. I wasn't really excited about feeling it out as a two-player, but we took a chance and played it two-player, and
we didn't take a chance. We did our duty as professional board game players.
Now the thing is, it plays 30 minutes, so it wasn't like this is like a 2-hour game and we're trying a two-player. Yeah. It actually doesn't play in 30 minutes.
It played in 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, in a two-player game and a three-player game, actually, there are only a couple of rule changes. So first, if you're playing with fewer than 5 players, you always take out the 0 cards.
Fewer than 5 players?
Yes, fewer than 5 players. We played that a little bit wrong.
We played it wrong. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, we won't tell.
Yeah.
Take out the zeros.
So in a 3-player game, before you play any cards each round, you flip another card face up because you need to go through some of the deck in order, like for the trick-taking aspect, there needs to be knowledge of what other cards are out there. That's a big part of the strategy of seeing what other people have played in previous hands. So
I did feel like that was weird when we first played it, but now that
play it face up seemed odd. We'll talk about that more in a second. But so no matter how many players you're playing, there will be at least 4 cards out. Obviously, if you're playing with 5 players, there will be 5 cards out each round. But if you're playing with 3 players, this 1 extra card comes out. If you're playing with 2 players, you will put another card face down that is not revealed until after everyone picks their cards.
Okay.
So this is a recreation, an actual recreation of our first turn. Yes. Both of us being skeptical about how this was going to work and if it was just going to be super random.
Right. Where's the tension?
We started here. We're on the 4. That means that yellow is high, orange is low. We know that this card is an 8, so it's a pretty low card. But we know playing an orange will undercut that card.
I wasn't going to win it, so I wanted to lose it so I could take the action. Yep. So I had my card out, and I played a orange 4, hoping I would lose it.
I played an orange 3.
So at this point, he would lose it. Then we flip over this card, and it was an orange 1.
And it undercut us both. We were both shocked by how many times in this game
happened. Either
we got undercut there or we got beat by it. Now, these cards don't take any actions as far as the card actions, but if one of these 2 cards is the low card, the banner, the gate automatically moves 3 spaces. If it's the high card, there's no watercraft out there for the high card or for this. Nothing happens, but that puts either of us in the middle spot. So these can count as high or low, but they don't actually take any actions.
Another thing that changes when you play a 2-player is you do put 4 banners that aren't being used on the even and odd spaces like this. You also only have 7 of the squishy fruits in the middle.
The squishy fruits change on player count. No matter how many players there are, it's different for each player.
So you do have the little, the extras over here in case you need to add some before you do a feast. But that's really the only changes.
And importantly, these banners do count for scoring the banners at the end of each round. So you have to have at least 2 banners out in order to score. In order to score anything for the banners.
There's a couple times where I only had 1 out in this area.
And got no points. Yep. Or tied for second or tied for first. One thing I do really like about this game that's kind of unusual is that if you tie, you get the full reward. You don't split
I wasn't expecting that. In fact, every time that I did tie, I was like, oh yeah. It did surprise me every time.
Yeah. So overall thoughts on this game?
It surprised me at 2-player.
Yeah, I expected it to be just a really binary. One of us is going to be high, one of us is going to be low, and most likely we're going to have a random card in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think it's smaller than a normal deck. So you take out the zeros. So there's 9 times. So there's 36 cards. We have 16 of them. So there's not that many cards to go through, and again, the face-up card before anything happened was odd.
It did feel weird at first,
but
then it was nice to be able to allow you to strategize what you've already seen.
Yeah.
To know, okay, well, I know that if that's an 8 and I have a 9,
right.
I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna win that. Yeah. Versus like if it was in the discard and other people were playing, you would already know that anyway.
Yeah. So it mitigates that lack of knowledge about what other cards
right.
are in people's hands. Just like like I said, like you would as you go through the game, other people are gonna play cards. It gets more cards out. So that actually turned out being it added a different strategy.
It wasn't
like,
as awkward as
I know that there's a purple 8 out, so if I'm over here, I know that I can't get the high card, so maybe I'm going to go for middle or for low. So it did give you a little more knowledge to make your choices off of than you would when everyone is playing their cards blind. But this face down card was super frustrating. It
created a good kind of tension that you would have if you had another player.
Yes.
That's really what that was.
I didn't feel like it played any differently strategically. Again, other than just having that little bit of knowledge, it didn't feel like it was any less at 2 players.
No.
It actually felt really good at 2 players.
It had
the same tension of the strategy is the same. You're still trying to move your little watercraft around. Not a jet ski, that's a brand name. And not a Sea-Doo, also a brand name. But it still had the same gameplay. The things that they limit with these make it where you get to the end into the tower faster and you're always getting fruit.
I did try to get more of my banners on the tower. I think the first time we did a 2-player, I did win, and the second time I lost because I was like, I'm not going around enough. So I tried to go around, and that messed up my strategy.
And the more I play it, the more I dig into the strategy of the game, which is not necessarily just going around, because we played 2 games at 2 players. And both times, the person who went around less and had the lower score on these cards here won the game because of the flags and the fruit.
Yep, the fruit was very, using the fruit for strategy is really fun.
Yeah, and it ran out. We did a lot of feasting because this ran out really quick at 2 player, or with only 7 fruit.
Now, I keep thinking back to our very first time we played at Gamma, when we were after we'd eaten our food and we just played there in the booth. And I keep thinking this would be a great game because of the small presence but impactful gameplay to play in 25 minutes before you get your food if you go out to eat. So it's a great date game, I think.
And with having played just adults, because the first games we played with the kids, and they were a little less decisive on what they were going to do. So now having played with just adults, the actual round should go the same length of time because everyone is playing. There's no turns. Everyone's playing at the same time. The scoring in between rounds may take a little bit longer, but still everyone is counting up the same. So there may be a couple minutes more to distribute points over the game. But this game should, with adults playing who know how to play, 30 minutes or less.
Yeah.
I would say get some small bags so that you can distribute everything, more bags than are in the box, so you don't have to separate stuff in order to play.
Yeah, I just organized it per player, so everything per player, and then that made it really easy. So just 4 extra bags, I think, is all I added to it. Yeah,
it's a great game. It played really, really well at 2 players.
I was surprised. Now we do need to play it at 3 players, but I don't think it'll play any differently. I think playing it at 4 players and then the 2, you get a really good.
We also need to play at 5, which should also be really frustrating. The more people you get in, obviously, the more people that are making conscious choices into what they're going to put down, it's going to be less random, and you are going to get undercut more. There's more chances that you play an 8 and somebody plays a 9, or you play a 2 and someone plays a 1 intentionally. Yeah. But it didn't feel super random.
It's just there's so much more strategy than just your normal trick-taking game. Yeah. That's what I really like about it, honestly. And then the theme just works.
And same thing we said before, the fact that no matter where you land in the hierarchy,
you get to do something.
You get to get points, and that the person who won the tricks in both of those games most of the time didn't win the game.
Right.
Because if you're strategic about it, there's other ways to get points and win the game without having to be solely beholden to the cards that you were dealt.
That's such a funny word. Beholden. So that is our take on Tidal Blades Banner Festival at a 2-player count. If you want to check out our full review of the 4-player count, you can check that out over there. And
you can only pop up the video once, so
but
it's still down there. Yeah.
Or back up and rewatch. And then, anyways, we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.